Maziar Bahari, thanks for joining us on Aslan Media. Our book salon selection for the month is your brand new memoir, Then They Came For Me, about your experience spending almost 3 months in Evin prison. What I want to talk to you right now is about a little bit about what's going on right now, obviously with this feud between Ahmadinejad and Khamenei. How are we to understand what that divide, the current divide in Iran, says about the Iranian government and the situation facing Iranians right now?
Well, in a few words, we can say that since the Arab Spring in the beginning of 2011, Ahmadinejad and the people around him have sensed that the situation is not tenable, and they have to distance themselves from Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the supreme leader of Iran, and if you want, he's the dictator of Iran. So they are trying to differentiate themselves with Khamenei, the supreme leader. And what they're trying to do, they are trying to provoke Iranian nationalist sentiments. They're talking about Iranian brands of Islam. They're talking about the glorious Persian Empire. They have some ceremonies. They're talking about Iranian rituals. And basically what they want to do is that they want to dupe people into believing that Ahmadinejad and his gang, they are the people who are the real opposition and can change this government effectively. But I emphasize on the word gang because many Iranians know that Ahmadinejad and the people around him, they're basically a cult. They have cultish beliefs. But at the same time, they are very thuggish and they act like a gang. And I was telling someone that in order to understand Ahmadinejad and his gang better, it's good to watch Godfather series or Sopranos, because they are as thuggish as them. They have no principles. And I think the Iranian people are smarter than that. I don't think they believe that Ahmadinejad is the real opposition.
But of course, this isn't a new thing, actually. I mean, this conflict between the sort of nationalists forming around Ahmadinejad, mid-level IRGC members, and the old clerical elite goes all the way back to really 2005, 2006. Ahmadinejad has, for a while now, been trying to distance himself from the clerics. I mean, does this indicate a much more structural divide within Iran?
I think it was more...
Go ahead.
I think at that time it was more subtle. Right now it's become more explicit, and also Ahmadinejad and the people around him, rightly, they didn't want to provoke Ayatollah Khamenei and the people around him, especially people in the Revolutionary Guards, because they wanted to have access to the resources for 4 years between 2005 when Ahmadinejad was elected and 2009. So during those first 4 years, they had access to oil resources, they had access to other financial institutions, and at the same time, they changed key positions in the country. Ahmadinejad basically placed his own people in different positions. And it took Khamenei maybe about 5 years to understand that he's losing support, that this monster that he created in 2005, he's become his own man, Ahmadinejad, and he wants to have power, and he wants to be the supreme leader maybe in the future, or he wants to get
rid of the supreme leader,
the position of supreme leader, but
which
he wants to be the grand leader.
He's explicitly said that on a number of occasions, that the clerics are not qualified to run Iran.
Exactly. And while Ahmadinejad is very careful in terms of not attacking Khamenei directly, he and his people, they are attacking the institutions that basically define Khamenei and supreme leadership. What we can say is that the Shias, the majority of Shias, they believe that they need grand ayatollahs, these objects of emulations, in order to interpret the words of the Quran for them, the teachings of Islam for them. What Ahmadinejad and the people around him are saying is that we don't need these grand ayatollahs. we can interpret the Quran for ourselves, and we can be in touch with the 12th Imam, the Shia Messiah. And that means without attacking Khamenei directly, he's basically making Khamenei as the supreme leader, as the supreme jurisprudent of the country, irrelevant.
Now, I'm not going to ask you the question that everybody asks about, whether the Green Movement is dead, because it's a silly question. The Green Movement is very much alive. The question that I do want to ask you, though, is what hope does the Green Movement have now, do you think, to take advantage of Ahmadinejad's desire to cut the $100 billion in subsidies that Iranians receive on basic foodstuffs, oil, natural gas, energy, things like that? Do you see that as an opening for the Green Movement to expand its audience and perhaps reach out to the vast majority of Iranians who live, either at the poverty level or below the poverty level, and who actually were not very interested in joining this movement in 2009?
I think that this Islamic regime in Iran has two weak points: economy and information. And by cutting subsidies and by giving handouts to people, what Ahmadinejad wants to do is that he wants to create loyalty among his followers. He wants to be able to manipulate people not only through those national slogans that we talked about, but also financially. But the result of cutting subsidies is that the people of Iran are getting poorer, because while the prices are going up, the salaries are not high enough to compensate that. So the Green Movement, I think what they should do is that they have to inform people about this. But at the same time, the Green Movement, or whatever the opposition is there, they have to be able to attract three different groups of people in Iran in order to be successful. Traditional clergy who are not happy with this government, not with the supreme leader who is basically trying to get rid of the traditional system of Shia clergy in Iran, which has always been very proud of being independent from the government. What Ayatollah Khamenei wants to do is to create a government dependence among the clergy. So the Green Movement has to attract the conservative, traditional clergy. The merchants of the bazaar are the second groups who hold a lot of power. They are very afraid of sudden changes, but through peaceful resistance, through nonviolent resistance, the Green Movement can attract the traditional merchants of the bazaar as well, because the bazaris are very much hateful of what the revolutionary guards are doing, and they don't like the fact that the revolutionary guards are interfering in economic activities and financial activities of the country. And the third group are the workers and farmers, who can be said they're the most damaged by these economic policies of the Iranian government. And without the support of these three groups, I don't think that the Green Movement or any other movement in Iran can succeed. But I think that what we see right now is the beginning, the nascent stages of Green Movement absorbing these three groups of people. And you'll see the change very soon. I think within the next 3 to 5 years.
The book is called Then They Came For Me by Random House and Maziar Bahari. Thanks so much for speaking to Aslan Media.
Thank you.